I am living proof that that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, living proof, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I've been judging longer than most of the people on the scene, bro. Because you have to remember, before the era we're talking about, there was no such thing as judging. It was super loose. You just pick someone out of the crowd, or the
Yeah.
crowd would judge,
Yeah.
or some local celebrity would judge that was a rapper or something else. Nobody said a damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, you would literally have DJs judging.
Right.
Literally. We used to make a joke, right? Because it wasn't just in the breaking scene. In the DJ scene, there's this competition called DMC, right? And the DJ mixing championships or whatever. And it's like super respected event, right? And we used to joke in the 90s that it's just like, oh, we got Dawn from Accounts judging. It was literally that. And the dance scene was like that. You just have some random person judging, but because they owned the club or something, they were judging.
Well, I mean, that kind of thing exists kind of almost anywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, you look at, I don't know, these big TV things where someone gets...
Little Mama's judging.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Okay, so...
Or whoever.
Yeah. So, maybe going back a bit, like, to someone who says that, like, how do you justify, I guess, your position as a judge? Like,
I try not to, because I think the argument isn't framed correctly. Like, when did that become a requirement?
Well, like,
because most of the people that say this haven't been around the scene. They just come on the scene,
right?
And it's their expectation. Their expectation is the thing that we've created, which is to have organized judges, people from the scene. Because before it could just be anybody. It didn't have to be from the scene. Look at Battle of the Year 2005. Damon Frost is judging, bro. Damon Frost is proper. He's never done a lick of breaking, and no one says anything because he's from our scene. A guy named Lee Rose was judging one of the early, he's also from the UK. He was judging one of the early Battle of the Years. He's not a b-boy. He's a popper. It's only in recent times that this has become a thing.
Yeah.
And it's more political than anything else, right? What it is that people who think that they deserve respect, that used to be dope b-boys or whatever, they're just trying to undermine the whole thing and say, oh, he shouldn't be judging. It should be me because I'm the famous b-boy. This bullshit. It's not authentic. It's not from an authentic place. It's not because they have a problem with my judging. It's just they want to sit in that seat. Yeah. And I understand it, but no.
Yeah. And like,
you don't qualify to be a judge by being a dope b-boy. No.
Yeah.
You have to have a fucking brain, and most of them don't. It is what it is, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just asking for the sake of asking, but I totally agree with you. Like, I mean, I was just looking this up today just to kind of in preparation for this, but it was like looking up just stuff on like Phil Jackson, and he's like the greatest NBA coach of all time.
Yeah.
Most championships and blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, he was in the NBA, so that's something, like good enough to be in the NBA, but he was like a bench player. And like one of the championships that he won as a player was like he spent it in, like he had surgery, and so he didn't even play. And so like, you know, he wasn't a superstar player. He was like athletically good, but
whatever, bro.
He had a mind for it, right? And like that's when you're judging, and like that's one thing that I think that just people don't get, and I kind of bring this up a lot in some of these other talks, like, you know, being a good dancer and being a good judge or being a good coach or whatever, those are
completely different things.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's obviously some overlap, right, with these things because you're judging.
It's tiny. There's more overlap with judging and teaching than there is with dancing. Because some people are just donuts, but they can do moves.
Yeah,
moves they're just mechanical. If you've got good proprioception and you understand your body, you can do a move.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you can teach the move, and it doesn't mean that you understand the move.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
Like, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. Like, by that argument, Terror should be judging. Tara's a child. Tara's a child.
Yeah.
But she's better than 90% of the B-boys out there. Not half, 90%. She can do more moves than 90% of the B-boys on the planet. Should she be judging because she can execute moves? Like, don't be stupid. She doesn't have the maturity of mind yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, I think that what it is that someone started this discussion out of jealousy or whatever, right? Because I don't think it just started with me. I'm just the hot one, right?
Yeah.
But someone started it, and then other people just follow without thinking about it. Like, does that make sense? They haven't thought about it. It's just like the whole judging discussion. People haven't thought for 1 second about what it is to be a judge, like cognitively, right? Everybody thinks that they can judge, that it's just subjective and an opinion, and it's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But they haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
Right? And then when you explain it to them, what the process of judging is, then they're like, oh, I didn't realize. Because I've had conversations over the years, right? With dope B-boys, and they're just like, yeah, you know, I judged the whole battle at once. I'm like, you judged 20 minutes of battling in one go. No, you don't. You don't even know what your limits are. You think you're doing that. You're not. You don't even understand how your brain works. You have to judge round by round for it to make sense. You have to, right? That's when the whole round by round thing started. Before that, people were just watching, going with their feeling or whatever, and then judging whichever way. It was super corrupt. Super corrupt.
Yeah.
Right? But until someone changes it, that's normal. And then when you change it and you explain why it makes sense, now this is normal. Right?
Yeah.
For most people. Some people still argue the other way, but whatever.
Well,
they're dinosaurs.
I think this is a really telling thing and I don't even know if this is like the current thing that's being used at a lot of these like bigger events now, but it was a video that Storm made about like the judging system that they were developing, right? And I looked at the number of views on that, and there was like, maybe I'm remembering this wrong. It was like less than 1,000.
Way less.
Like maybe 500, maybe
5.
Yeah, it was
people don't
absurdly
care, bro.
low. And he gets into like all of this kind of stuff that, you know, like even just, and maybe he talks about, I don't know, Storm, but like he gets very like analytical about it, and gets kind of deep, and so maybe some people, their brain just turns off like, this.
No, but the thing is, we're I mean, we built this shit, right? So we understand it. So if someone wants to ask us, we're super easy to find, bro.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the terms are technical because we're looking at something that's complex. It's not just, I just point right, I point left. I hate when people think it's just this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like what we're talking about is complex analysis. And you can't just...
And even just looking at the way that the judging, like the current, like, well, not current, the system was, I guess, even if you're using like a pen and paper and this kind of stuff, and like...
They're the same. It's a system.
Yeah, right. And like just some of the little things that he mentioned in the video of like having something, you know, if it's like an app or something, and just it's a slider, and there's no, it's not like a point system where it's like 1 to 100. It's like it's relative, and you know, it's a slider that you can watch the battle and just be like, okay, you know, this much, and just constantly be adjusting it however you need it to be. And there's different like it was
the thing is, right, the abstraction can be extended. Like it's a slider, but it's also in a way some weights.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this guy's way better, you know, and it's this.
Yeah.
Just like this, right?
Yeah.
It's just the same.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't process that watching a 10-minute battle or a 20-minute. It's impossible, bro. Really. I've done these tests with people and embarrassed them. We've been through this. People think we just sat there and just shat this stuff out. Like we've tested stuff, bro. We've noticed things, bro, because you can do that when you start really looking at judging, right? One of the observations we made, for example, is that if you got 5 judges and 4 go that way and 1 goes this way, right? In round 1, where's this guy going next time?
I don't know.
The other way. Almost 100% of the time, regardless of what happens in the battle. So he could be wrong again, because now those judges went that way. So what it is that you're sitting there and everything around you is registering, and you're just like, when 4 judges go that way and you go this way, you feel terrible, bro. Believe me. You feel it. You're just like, oh, did people notice? Oh my God. There's all this stuff going through your head, right? When you're not aware of it. Right? Yeah. And then the next round, you're just like, they went that way that time. I'm going to go that way this time. Really, it happens. Because the numbers show us that it happens. You can deny it all day long. Most people are not even aware of what their brains are doing, bro, really. Or what their emotions are doing to them. They're really not aware. Like, really. When that happens too much, that you're always on the wrong side, it starts to affect your judging. And that's another thing that you'll see. The one who's wrong a lot, he starts to slow his judging down completely. So what happens is like there's always like a delay or whatever.
Okay, sure.
Right? Hands go that way and then the last person goes.
Okay.
Because they're waiting to see which way the judgment's going to go, right? This person starts to get slower and slower and slower. Really. The numbers show it, man. Because the thing with the system that we designed, it tells you how quick people are responding.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yes. So you can tell if someone took 0.1 of a second or 3 seconds. The numbers show tendencies, hesitations, security, all of it. It shows up, bro. It shows up.
So yeah, this is kind of why, like, when I see you talking about, I think it was a recent one, and you were talking about, well, I mean, just people are talking about the Olympics now. Everyone is or whatever, right? But your main thing in this particular status update, which you do a lot of them, but this one, this particular, I enjoy them, but this particular one was talking more about, okay, so whatever, we got the Olympics, what's next? People need to start like building these things, like
they think it's gonna happen on its own, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the things that you brought up that I think is a really good thing, and I'm sure other people have brought this up to you and whatever, but you're just one of the more vocal people about this, I think, is like judge training or accreditation or something like that. Like
100% necessary.
People are talking about biased judges. Okay, we'll develop a system or something that's like, we're laying it out here, everything. And I think like Dizzy tried that with the hour system, and I mean it maybe, I don't know if it's still going around. I don't think it is.
What's that?
The hour system. Dizzy's.
No, I think Dizzy's he's still using it. People are still using it.
Yeah.
The thing is that, like, this is a free market. Everybody should develop a system.
Yeah,
you know
and
what
I
mean?
think it's like it's a step in the right direction. Like whether it works or doesn't work, the time will tell, right?
Unnecessary, yeah. Look, if Dizzy didn't have his system, we wouldn't have our system.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Dizzy forced the scene to start thinking about systems.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there weren't other systems before. Maybe there were. But Dizzy fought for it. He forced the scene to grow up in that way.
Yeah.
Right? He got a lot of shit for it. And I don't see eye to eye with him on everything, whatever.
Yeah.
But without Dizzy, we don't have the Trivium. We don't have the Olympics. We don't have any of that stuff. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
In a world without Dizzy's hour system, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, I don't know, people have this like it's like all or nothing kind of thing. Like, it didn't work. Okay, well then, like, screw systems or whatever. It's like
no, it's so stupid.
That's one like iteration of judging systems, and you can use that and be like, well, this doesn't work, and well, that works, and this doesn't work.
Not even that, bro. Like, are you telling me that pointing hands works? No, we've been complaining about that for 20 years already.
Exactly.
What are you comparing it to? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What? It's no better or worse, and it's actually a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Because when people are pointing hands, you don't know who's going where. You don't remember. People don't remember who voted for them. But if I've got it in a system, you can say, all right, I want to call out the judges, but not that guy because he voted for me, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, what the hell? You don't know what's going on when you're in battle mode. You don't know who's voting for who. You couldn't remember what song was playing when you got on the stage. You know, like, you're completely in a zone. You know, like,
yeah.
We needed a way to be accountable. We needed transparency. You know, when it's just a local youth club, who cares? But the minute you start talking money, sponsorship, big organizations, now the Olympics, you can't piss around with, oh, just point right or left. We're just looking for the funk. What are you talking about?
Yeah, define that. What is funk?
It's such a stupid thing. I just want to smack people that talk this stuff, bro. They sound so stupid to me, man. It's just like, how did you get to 50, man? Some of the people in our scene, right? I'm just like, you should just say nothing, man. I used to respect you. They're so fucking stupid, bro. It's insane. Insane. I'm not gonna name names or anything, but some of them are just like, they don't even know what's happening and they're talking about the Olympics. I'm just like, you don't even go to normal jams, man. Why are you concerned with the Olympics all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna get a seat there? Like,
yeah, I think, you know,
not talking like an ignorant moron, you're not.
Yeah. The people that are gonna like be long term with this thing, those are the people that are gonna create these kinds of systems and grow them and grow the scene into healthy directions, or at least like try to move it in some direction rather than just staying stagnant and like, well, this is as good as it's gonna get. Like, there's no way up here.
I guess that's it. Like,
yeah,
what are
and
you
I
saying?
think that's one of the most like kind of ironic things from a community that's built around this dance that is like one of the most creative, like innovative dances around, built with part of the like basis of it is be original and push everything, like push the limits of your mind and your body and everything, right? And, you know, people are so resistant
not
to
that
trying.
Difficult. You just point right or left. What are you saying to me?
Yeah.
The dance is so much more complicated than the first iteration, but we should judge it the same as the first. Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
You judge cars based on horses. I don't think you do.
Well, don't we still use like horsepower?
Yeah, and that's about it. And we still use the, you know, we still have the language of breaking, right? Yeah. We still have it, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
You can't judge them the same. You can't even process them the same. The amount of moves these kids are doing in like 5 seconds, bro. Like, stop already, man. Back in the day, it was just like, how many flares could you do? How many swipes could you do? Like, it was super primitive.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I've thought about too in recent years, because like, you know, I'm sure it's just anything like competitive or whatever. Like, whenever you get into that, there's like an ever changing kind of like meta that evolves of like, okay, well, this will win for now, but then, you know, something comes along and changes it, and like, it's breaking's no different. Like, for a time there was routines would win everything, and if you did a routine, whatever, but then they, you know, things get played out or overdone, and then the trend changes and it moves into some other thing or whatever it is, like, you know. And I think
we're constantly changing, and we need to be adaptable in how we treat ourselves as well, you know. So the system, if we get back to that, like, it's not the end, it's the beginning, you know. Dizzy was the beginning, we're an intermediate step, and maybe the best is yet to come. But we can't just like stop. We can't just be like, I guess that's it. Like, what are you saying? What's
Well,
happening?
you
Like,
know,
why are we even thinking like this?
yeah. And even like, I think, when I was younger, I think just some of the people that I was around with, they were very, well, everyone's just kind of young, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes kind of ignorant or not, whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's
No,
the
it
right
is
word.
ignorant because it's
Yeah.
normal.
But yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And so, my original kind of image of Dizzy was like, oh, it's gonna water
Yeah,
down
he's trying to do this and try and
it's gonna
take
water
over,
down
blah, blah,
things. It's
blah.
not,
Yeah,
true with
blah,
the
blah.
essence or something like that. And
Yeah.
like maybe aspects of it are who know whatever, right?
What's
But
funny, before you continue, is that he's now using that argument.
oh, is he?
It's so strange, right? Like, I love Dizzy, but you're saying what they were saying to you. You've become the thing that, like, what is happening?
Yeah,
Nothing changes this dance, bro.
yeah,
This
yeah,
dance does what it wants, and there'll be pockets
yeah, exactly. Well,
that
that's the thing.
original stuff,
It's
and there'll be pockets that are moving so far ahead we can't keep up, and
yeah.
there are pockets in the middle.
It's like anything, right? Like you can try to control the direction, but you're not going to.
It's gonna find its own way, bro.
Yeah, and like
Its own way.
that's one of the things too with like this is what breaking is and whatever, and like the Olympics, it's gonna change it, right? Well, maybe it does change it, and maybe it does turn into something else, and then it's something completely different, and
But
it's
this
not even
old way
breaking.
will still exist,
Exactly, right? That and then they're just two separate things, like,
and that's fine,
and that's
surely.
fine, right? There's nothing inherently, I don't know, wrong with that. Like, yeah, you might have to deal with, depending how it gets turned, like the terminology, like you might have to deal with this, breakdance umbrella term that we still deal with, but like we've
But we haven't
managed. And
stopped anyway.
exactly,
I
right?
hear old school guys use that term.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, don't blame the Olympics or blame the media. It's just like, people in our scene use that term, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
OGs use that term, bro. If you listen to Kaz, he uses that term.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Bambata uses that term.
mm-hmm,
KRS uses that term.
mm-hmm.
Like, stop running after the media when the problem is right at your doorstep.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You worried about the Olympics. It's just like, bro,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's OGs, pioneers, and legends in our scene that still use this fucking term. How about you call them and correct that and stop worrying about fucking the Daily Mail or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. Or
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and like just one thing that Storm mentioned it to you. Like, if you want things to change, if
You
you
got to do it
don't agree
yourself.
with something, just do it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just make it happen. But I think that's one thing that, people don't want to put in the time to do it, or they don't want to deal with the probably long period of time potentially where it sucks, or it's not good, or you're developing it
Yeah.
and you don't really know what it is yet or where to go.
And there's no reward.
And there's no reward. Yeah.
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 Because what happens is when you try to change things, and of course Dizzy knows this better than anyone, people hate on you for no reason.
Mhm.
Because they think that their projection is what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
Right? Dizzy was never trying to control the scene. That's insane.
Mhm.
He just wanted some way of making things more accountable, or to quantify things, It was never about controlling the scene.
Yeah.
Dizzy was a child. Do you know what I mean?
Or even
How
just-
old was Dizzy when he came up with this? 21 or some shit? I don't know.
Yeah. But even
He was
just
a
building
kid.
something for the future that, like,
Yeah, but his idea of the future, and you can't say that that's not a good idea. You can say it's not a good idea, but you can't say it's not the right idea.
yeah.
You don't get to make that call.
Yeah. Well, you don't even know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was just
That's why I
talking about
defended
this.
him from day one. I defended him from day one. I'm just like, no, like, certain people want to do their thing, let them do their thing. I support their right to do that thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even at the time, I didn't agree with his system, right? Because I was also being ignorant.
Mhm.
Yeah? Or the idea of a system being articulated like that. I was ignorant.
Mhm.
Because I was, of course, we all go through that ignorant stage where it's just like, nah, it's like, let's just point right or left. Like, we don't need all this stuff.
Just feel it.
Like, people think that I'm I'm I don't know. I don't know what they think, but I know what they think. I can't articulate it. But it's just like they think that I'm just always been on this kind of shit. It's just like, no, I was resistant to these ideas at first as well. I was super resistant to the Cozen system when Nick was telling me about it. He could tell you. Super resistant. Oh, you can't judge like that, the best stuff. What the hell is that? Because that's always my first reaction. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then they explain it, and then I'm just like, okay. Okay, I put it in the database. It makes sense. Okay, let's move forward. And more people need to learn to do that. Like, okay, explain it to me. Make it make sense.
Yeah, and just
then,
like get rid of your preconceived notion of what,
yes,
like, and just go into it. All right, blank slate.
And then afterwards you'll be like, okay, because we all hate change, bro.
Yeah.
We all do. Come on,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I don't want to read a document that tells me, you know, like this has got his 5 categories and you have to read each one and all. I don't want to do that. That's work. I just want to point right or left and get paid and go home. Do you know? Yeah, we need to lose that mentality because it's an actual job and you need to do the job properly. And to do that, you're going to have to take training. You might have to certify. You might have to pay for that certification. You know, like who knows where we're going to go with this, right? Yeah. Because as it grows.
Yeah, especially in the beginning too. Like you got to take a chance. Like if
you have to, man. And it's dirty because you do get a lot of attack and all this kind of stuff. And if you're not built for it, you shouldn't do it, right? But it's dirty, bro. To change things is a dirty process.
Now really vibe.